Competition underrated me, yeah. Started from bottom, they rated me last. I don't really know what they taking me as. Fill the space up with hoes like a Jason and Mans. Squad and official, I stay with my niggas. Free the fellas, I just pray for my niggas. Middle finger to these hating ass niggas. Still motivating these ungrateful ass niggas. I know they watching me, I'm watching you too. These niggas be mad cause I'm dropping the truth. It's more than one snitch in your solid ass group, and you say no one time and then watch what they do.
Just that you didn't feel anything, even though you did feel something.
Right.
Or to a certain extent.
Something was wrong.
Right.
Psychologically, emotionally, I knew, man.
Right.
So I went back to the cell, and my cellie worked in the main kitchen. And had some cell time, man. I was sitting there and I was watching TV, man. I'll never forget, man. Days of Our Lives was on. No.
Third yard. So after third yard.
No. This was a Saturday. Wasn't Days of Our Lives. Hold on, I gotta remember what I was watching.
Okay.
It was Saturday, but it was on during the Days of Our Lives time because my TV didn't do a lot of moving.
I know.
And I forget, man. Now I don't even remember. I thought I remember what was on. For some reason I thought, but it was a Saturday.
Roll pepper Tony's.
Probably. And I was sitting there, and I remember looking at the TV, and I felt something on my hands, and I looked down, and I had tears on my hands. On the top of my hands, I had been crying and didn't know I was crying. And I got up, went and looked in the mirror, and then I was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you, man? You better gangster up. What is going on with you?" You know. And I was giving myself that little self-talk, like, "You tripping, fool.
Right.
You tripping. You know the rules, you know." And so I cleaned myself up, and it dawned on me, man, I got to do something, man. Something got to change. That was that point for me, man.
Right.
That red light went off, like you turn an animal, man. You starting to really believe this old Donald Goins penitentiary, you know what I'm saying, the movie type lifestyle, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Man, you drinking your own Kool-Aid, you on your own hype.
Right.
Your mama didn't raise you like this, you know.
Okay. So then at this point, you start deciding you want to change your get down. You want to change how you're moving.
Yeah. And I went to work on myself, man, through a variety of things. I got sober, man. Clean, stopped using dope, stopped drinking. I changed my whole get down, man. Clean and sober thing, let my brain start thinking. And what ended up happening, man, was politically, man, you know, like somebody else's dirt I won't talk about, but somebody did some dirt and hurt a homie that was a homie. And when he got called out on it, they came back and said it was my call because I was responsible. I had the yards, you know what I'm saying? And politically, they was like, it's on him, man. He made that call. And what I said and how it was executed was different. What I said was, if you feel threatened, take a knife and use that knife if you feel threatened in the sense that he got a knife or something. Other than that, make it be a fade. And it didn't go down like that. And then there's somebody was trying to persecute me from the outside of another political organization within us. And then I had somebody on the inside, and it just got really, really treacherous, man. And that's what led to me being like, you know what? If I kill this motherfucker, me and the people that love him gonna be at war. It's gonna take me 10 years to get peace in my life. I'm gonna have to keep busting on motherfuckers until, you know, we done. Or if I let this go, they're gonna take me down as being weak. Right. And I just really started seeing the plays for what they was, and I was like, okay, you really don't have a win other than killing a motherfucker and never getting out of prison, and you're gonna have to stab up some more motherfuckers.
Right.
And eventually you can't stab everybody up. They put you under the shoe. And I'd already been validated and sent there once, and getting out of that was a motherfucker. You know, I had to go to court to get out of that.
Right.
And I didn't want that. I was like, man, I'm not living like this, man. It ain't the way the cards are dealt. Man, I'm done. And I started making changes. So they came and they snatched us up and took us to the hole. And, you know, when the dust cleared, I did all the discussions I needed to do behind doors, and I was like, I'm done. So when they separated us all and sent us to different yards, that was it. I let it go. And then when I would hit a yard or something, everybody was like, hey, I don't fuck around. What's up? You know, changed that the whole stilo changed. And by then, you know, we just gonna be real about it. By then, all them enemigos that used to be on the other side was like, we ain't gonna fuck with that dude.
Right.
We know what's up with him.
Right.
So we don't know if he really alone or not. This because cats do that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't like I went Christian or something. It's like, I don't fuck around. I don't hang with dogs. I don't get fleas.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, one thing I pride myself on, man.
And your reputation had already preceded you, no matter where you hit.
Yeah, and no matter where I went, man, Crips had my back based on that shit at reception, just like on the
Right.
strength.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
then
yeah.
big love from the Bay, big love from Sac. You know, I was always a friendly cat, man, and I wasn't no hater, man. And I embraced motherfuckers. I didn't care who is you with it. I don't
Yeah,
care. I don't care what you is you with it.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah. I
it's
remember.
yeah, you know, is you know, that's
I
what
remember when
matters.
I remember when you had my young ass in the cell. You was on that same page. I remember.
Yeah, well, you know, when I met you, man, you had just hit and you had walked. I remember telling you, man, that you had just walked into some politics and all bloods ain't your homeboys. You
Yep,
need to know that.
yep, yep.
And I gave you the game exactly where I was mentally. So what happened was I gave you the game raw, man. I gave it to you like I understood it. All
Yeah.
homies ain't your homies. And amigos is your friends. It's really dog eat dog, and this is what you need to know to stay armed.
Oh
This is
yeah.
what you do and what you don't do. This is how you do this, and just basic stuff. I just wanted you to survive, man. Because when I met you, man, it wasn't that you was like a super hard dude or no, you didn't try to
Yeah.
be that. You was
Nah.
just you was like I'm with it. I'm down. I'm here. What the fuck ever. But you was a human being, man, and I
Right.
could relate to that, you know, because we
I
talked about family and shit and all that.
absolutely.
And I took a liking to you too, man. And then I remember running into you later on, man. You were bigger and swoller, man. You know what I'm saying? You been on them dip bars. I was like, damn,
Right, right.
this cat that outgrew me, man. Because people don't know I'm a big dude now. You know,
Yeah, but you was slim back then.
man.
Yeah,
I was 180 pounds in shape, burpee
yeah,
machine, man.
yeah. I
Uh,
remember.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
now
When I came in the cell with you, we was about the same size at first. But
yeah,
you was bigger than me. And
yeah.
then
But
when
you
we
was
ran in,
taller though. You
I
were
was
taller
taller.
though.
Yeah, I
You
was
was
taller.
taller though.
I was
And it was
taller.
like we reversed roles. I was like, damn, this fool must have ate his celly or something. This fool twice as big.
Yeah. Okay. So we finally get to a point where somehow the courts considered a reason to let you out of prison.
Okay, so I had been to enough board hearings. The hearing before they released me, when the hearing was over, the commissioner turned and off the record said, "Why do you even come in here?" You know what I'm saying? We
Right.
know who you are. You know who you are. You're never getting out. Why the fuck are you wasting our time, basically? And I had hit a hopeless point with that denial, but I had ended up going down to a level 3 and eventually level 2 because the board made me go. I stayed at New Folsom an extra 5 or 6 years. I ended up doing 11 years there total
Whew.
that trip. I love that place, man. That
Right.
was Disneyland for me.
Yeah.
Had a lot of Jews, cats knew me. So what ended up happening was um, the commissioner, they removed the commissioner. Her name was Mary Ann Tardif. And they
Mm.
removed her because she denied somebody for parole because they looked mean, right? And she had enough of those little gigs on her shit. I filed for a new hearing just because, you know, I could.
Right.
And I got a notice in the mail said you can get a new hearing. But by that time, I had already changed my life, man. I was teaching like 6 leisure time groups. I was a substance abuse counselor. I had a
Right.
literacy program where I was teaching dudes to read. One of the saddest moments, man, for me in prison was when one of the homies came up to me and was like, "Hey, man, will you read me this letter?" I'm like, "Motherfucker, you can't read?" He was like, "No, dog, I can't." And I
Right.
said it as a joke. Then I felt really bad, so I read him the letter. And the chaplain never came and told him that his mama died, and it was his sister writing, telling him that his mama had died. And I said, "Man, I'm never gonna be in that position again. I teach every motherfucker out here how to read before I go through that again."
Right.
So that, and then I did culture empowerment prisoner impact group. Me and another dude started that and pushed it. And then I did so many L tags, man, brag, and everything was about recovery, CBT thinking, substance abuse recovery, criminal gangs anonymous, alternatives to violence. I really threw myself into programming, not on the hope that I was going to get out or stack up good boy chronos, but I was living a different life. I was serving the community that I was in there. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And I was trying to help
So
dudes.
instead of trying to hurt us, he was trying to help us.
Yeah, and I figured out how to do that. Not the way to do that ain't teaching you how to make a strap out of a motherfucking tumbler or a CD case, how to put a point on none of that, or you know, even push come to shove a VO5 bottle. You know what I'm
He showed me how to do it, y'all. He
saying?
showed me how to do it. I'm
You
sorry,
know,
but he showed me how to do it.
well, man, whatever it takes to survive,
And
man.
he told me not to go outside. And for those who know this, and they're gonna find this funny. And he the one that told me and surprised me, saying you might have to hoop this. What?
Yeah,
I might have to what? Yeah. So yeah, it was times when you guys know the stories. You guys heard the stories. Yeah, this the guy that started them. But anyway, yeah. So
Yeah.
you got all these chronos up, and you got this new hearing.
Yeah, and I walked in. It was the longest hearing I'd ever been in. It was 5.5 hours.
Ooh.
And when I walked in, the commissioner sat down and he looked at me. And he said, "So tell me, what's going to be different between now and the last?" Because he had did a hearing for me before. He said, "What's going to be different between now and the last hearing? Because you're just a little older, a little more gray." I looked him in the eye and I said, "Man, whatever the fuck you asked me today, I'm gonna tell you the absolute truth, man."
Right.
And there was a couple times during the hearing they asked me some things, and I told them, "I'll tell you the truth about me. I can't tell you the truth about nobody else. But I did this, and I did it. Yes, that was me. No, that's a lie. That was this other cat trying to get out of this. But that was this. This was that, and I did this, and I did that. Yeah, you're right." And we went through my entire C file, which for those that don't know what that is, that's your disciplinary file. Man, I had 3 of them things, man. I was in there so long. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was a big history on me, and FBI investigations, all that stuff, man. Just corruption everywhere I walked. So we got that together, man.
And he granted it.
Yeah, I came back in. I never heard him say that. I never heard him say nothing. I was sitting there, and I already wasn't expecting it. And then he started saying some things I didn't understand. It was like hearing Charlie Brown teacher talk. And I looked at my attorney. I'm like, what is he saying? Because you've been in enough parole hearings, you know what come next.
Yeah.
This ain't what come next.
Right.
And I look at my attorney, and I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? He said, "You all right, man? You going home?" I'm like, "What? You all right? You going home?"
Oh, you tell your lawyer he's saying some new stuff. He says, "Cool, you going home," and you like, what?
Yeah, it blew me up. I looked at him, and then again, something that hit me emotionally. I was crying. I was like, "What?" He's like, "You going home?" And the deputy commissioner leaned across the table, put his hand on mine, and he was like, "Son, slow down and breathe. Just breathe for a minute." And they had me stand up and turn around because during my hearing, the guard has my paper that grants my parole.
Oh,
and it's
the whole
because that not when we came back for the decision.
Oh, okay.
And I asked dude, like, "What's that?" And you know what I'm saying? Because I never see, that's another thing. We notice shit.
Yeah, we noticed changes.
What's that about? He's like, "Oh, that's the out count." Yeah, he's like, "That's the out count because you was here." You know what I'm saying? And they had the officer give it to me because during my hearing off the record, commissioner asked me, we went off the record. He said, "Could you just explain to that officer how you thought it was okay to stab 3 correctional officers or order them stabbed or, all these things that you did towards correctional officers?" Because I had a fade, man, on the shoe yard with a cop, man, back in Gladiator School, man. And, he got it and I got it. You know what I'm saying? They beat the shit out of me. And he was like, "Can you explain?" And I just told dude, "Look, man, you was in another gang to me, man. Back then, I didn't think about public service and you putting your kids through college and you feel to protect your community against outside and I'm the outside. I didn't think about that. Now it's different. I think, you serve a purpose. I just think that some of y'all are fucked up just like some of us are fucked up."
Right.
And that little speech, there was a lot more to it, but that was the gist of it. And there was some humility in there, you know what I'm saying, and some compassion on both sides. And I think they had dude give me my papers, you know what I'm saying? And I really felt that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I really felt that, like, damn, man, like, and dude told me, he said, "Just go out there and do what you say you're doing." That's what he told me,
Whew. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then they tell you you're going home. So now you come home. What's the first thing you do when you walk out the gate? Or necessarily walk out the gate. Well, what's the first thing you plan to go do? What is the first thing you went to do?
Well, I knew I was doing transitional housing, but I had 2 really good friends pick me up. There was an orchard right there next to Avenal Prison.
Yeah.
We drove down the road. I went out in the orchard and got naked and took all my prison shit off. I got smudged from head to toe, prayed over, wiped with a hawk wing, you know what I'm saying, and blessed and shook the negativity of prison off of me spiritually and emotionally and moved forward.
Oh, good shit. Good
Yeah.
shit. So, okay, so now prison's behind us. And everybody who watches my channel knows I don't do interviews unless there's a positive outcome after prison. So what's your positive outcome after prison?
Okay, so when I say I'm community involved, man, I'm really community involved, man. My wife is very community involved also, but right now I run a national program that's working out in New Jersey, Illinois, and Georgia with cohorts of juveniles in prison. I've reduced juvenile prison violence in those prisons by 70% by our program. I work with a kids program with the police department. I mentor lifers getting out of prison. I do community work. Like everybody used to get the angel tree through their door for kids' presents.
Yeah.
We give away bikes every year for the people to sign up. We give away bikes to their kids every year. I make sure that happens. Um, Man, bro, I work in the substance abuse recovery, transitional housing. I'm facilities manager for this program, and we just picked up 200 more units, so we're going to be really, really expanding.
Right.
I'm good at what I do with recovery, man, and counseling. When I tell you I mentor ex-lifers, man, anywhere between 20 and 30 at any given time. I'm running through the probation department. We've got classes and programs that we put on
Right.
for emotional development, what we call emotional literacy and vertical emotional learning.
Right.
And what we do is we call direct experiential learning, which is where you learn through the process of going through your trauma and understanding what shaped and formed you and releasing that energy. Man,
Right.
I was on phone this morning with an incubator investor firm out of New York, and with some realtors here. We're getting ready to build some transitional housing, where the first level is commercial properties ran by formerly incarcerated people, and it's all of our stores where you're investing in your community. Then above that, low income housing, and above that, a transitional program for guys coming out of prison or jail. You know,
Wow.
yeah, I stay busy, dog. I do Skype calls twice a week with these juvenile cohorts when we don't go out there. Me and my boy Eldra, we flying out Monday night. We on
Yes,
red
sir.
eye. We on red eye in New Jersey. Go into the juvenile prison. We out at 3 o'clock. We on a red eye back,
Yeah.
and
Just
we
got through
do
talking to him. Yeah.
yeah
Yes, sir.
we doing that like once or twice a month. And we got different teams that we send, but it's either me or one other dude. We always the staple. One of us got to go because we got the ties with the administration and the foundation that supports that. We're in Illinois. We're past the building phase. We're opening in 3 juvenile institutions, and their get down back there for the juvenile prisons is different. It's like big ass farms they took over.
Right.
So we're going to be doing our programs there. It works. I've already told people, the next thing is we coming back to California. We already do stuff here, but I really want to get involved. We getting ready to be going into YA and do things. We getting our stuff together. But
Yeah. I
I'm
can't
I'm
wait.
I'm either on a plane or I'm in the hood, or I'm traveling, man. I'm
Yes,
out and
sir.
about, man. You know what I'm saying? I really got a big presence down in San Diego with some people about
Right.
organizationally that we showing up and trying to get that. And I'm trying to filter over into Arizona and push because a lot of Bloods and Crips and Mexican gangs hit that and went that way towards Texas. And
Right.
they kind of stopped when they got to Texas because they
Right.
ran into a different version of stuff over there.
Yeah.
But that gang culture through Arizona and New Mexico is California based
Right.
and trying to really heal. They just wanted to do what we did. They heard colors and went crazy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and I'm not trying to down them or nothing, but
Ah, absolutely.
NWA, man, that shit. Whew,
Yep.
and just trying to erase what I was a part of. Man, I was a part of a very destructive force. Now I'm trying to be part of you got to destroy to rebuild though,
Right.
and rebuild some communities and juveniles and reunite families and really it comes back to men make war, man, and we got to support the men so they can go and support their families and be that somebody that they can look up to.
Right.
And I was such a part of the problem for so many years, man. But once I got out my own way and I got clean and got my thinking, I feel better than I've ever been when I felt high when I helped somebody, man.
Absolutely.
I, you know.
So you got all that going. I salute you. Hopefully, hopefully, if I'm not even gonna say hopefully. I'm sure soon I'll be a part of that in some aspect. And I salute you, brother. Thanks for coming on for my channel, man. We already bros. I knew I didn't ask you sooner because I was just letting it build up first. Because I wanted when I dropped you and Brez, you and Veg, when I would drop y'all's, I wanted to have at least a couple thousand people paying attention. So now I got a couple thousand, almost 4,000 paying attention. So now I know they're gonna look and be like, okay, cool.
I just want to say, man, that I see what you're doing now, and the talks we've had, and the mentality. I want you to know, man, that I'm proud of who you became, even past my little bullshit influence.
Oh no, yeah. Believe it or not, man, that the some of the bullshit lessons people may see that as you teaching me might have saved pretty much saved my life in certain instances, man. So if I didn't know certain things that you taught me, it wouldn't have made it so easy to transition to being who I am today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Better to know how to do it than end up with a hole in me for not having it on me. You know what I mean? So, thanks for coming on. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Is there anybody you want to send a shout out to or anything like that before we close it up?
Yeah, man, and this is real, and people might not understand this, but rest in peace, J Dog.
Ah,
You're not here no more, man. You know what I'm saying? You served your purpose, man. And now Aaron's here and he does work, and I'm expecting my second child this year, man. But like you
yeah.
said, it served a purpose, man. And it's time to go. It's time to go heal, man. It's
So
time to go heal.
J Dog's dead. Salute to Mr. Aaron for coming on here and sharing his story with you guys. Y'all know what it is. It's Snake Dog 916 live from Sacramento, man. Stay loyal, man.